Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time. New information has come to light about a potential new threshold for the rest of the $2,000 stimulus check. It does look like the threshold for individuals receiving the remaining $1,400 based off of the $2,000 stimulus check promise from the Biden administration could be subject to a different threshold than the thresholds that were associated with the initial CARES Act as well as the most recent $600 stimulus check. Here's an article on your screen that you'll see that was published in the Washington Post today, and the headline of the article reads, "Cutting off stimulus checks to Americans earning over $75,000 would be wise according to new data." Now, here's where things get really interesting. We can already analyze the impact of the $600 stimulus checks that were mailed out that our fellow Americans are starting to receive now or have already received. Individuals who desperately needed the money, individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality, they already spent the money because they needed the money to put food on the table, to make rent, to be able to keep the lights on. But individuals who had extra money, who did not need the money, simply saved the money. The entire objective of the stimulus is so that people can spend the money so that they can fulfill their obligations, so that they don't have to feel that financial pressure, and also for economists, for that money to make its way back into the economy. When money is saved and not spent, it kind of defeats the purpose of the stimulus check. So again, individuals who desperately need the money definitely should be getting the money. If you've been following my channel for a while, I've always been a proponent for help for those who need it the most, because not everybody needs help to the same degree. So what's really interesting is that there could potentially be a new threshold. So imagine if somebody's above the threshold, they get no money, nothing. But if somebody is below the threshold, then they get stimulus checks. Could this threshold be something that we see in the next version, in the third stimulus package? Keep in mind that the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has basically said, hey, if we don't get support from the Republicans, then we're going to pass stimulus on our own using reconciliation. But could we see some sort of a threshold there in order to make this stimulus relief more targeted with the third major stimulus package? Now, this is where things get really interesting, everyone. On your screen, you'll see a chart that shows you the effect of the latest $600 stimulus check based on different income levels. Now, the section in orange corresponds to the spending that took place as a direct result of the $600 stimulus check. On the left side of this chart, you'll see individuals earning less than $46,000 a year. On the right side of the chart, you'll see individuals making more than $78,000 a year. You'll see how that portion in orange is significantly larger, $126 all the way to the left, and $140 for those who are in the $46,000 to $59,000 income range, and only $45 for individuals who make more than $78,000 a year. This data tells us a story. This tells us that those making more than $78,000 a year not only already have their jobs back, but they don't need the money. So when they get the money, they kind of just save it. They don't spend it. But if you're making less money or if you're out of a job, you have no choice but to spend it, which basically makes a case for future stimulus potentially being more targeted. Keep in mind that many Republicans have said that they want the next round of stimulus to be more targeted. In fact, here's a quote on your screen from John Friedman, who's an economics professor at Brown University and co-director of Opportunity Insights. He says, targeting the stimulus payments to lower income households would both better support the households most in need and provide a large boost to the economy in the short run. These checks are really impactful for low income households. Now, what's really interesting is that Friedman and also Harvard economics professor Raj Chetty and economist Michael Stepner analyzed spending data, credit card data, debit card data, spending data, and they were able to see a clear correlation. What they found was that there was an uptick in spending by families and individuals who earn less than $50,000 a year after the stimulus payments started to make their way through the system in the first week of January. In contrast, spending barely increased for families who are making more than $78,000 a year. Now, here's where things get really interesting. If stimulus checks go out to couples earning more than $75,000 and singles earning more than $50,000, that price tag is $200 billion. It's a $200 billion price tag. Yet the researchers estimated that this group of individuals is only likely to spend $15 billion of that money, only 7% of the money, which means the US government would send out that money and only $15 billion of that money would make its way back into circulation. And here's the part that's really interesting and also not so surprising, because when this pandemic hit us back in March, everybody was struggling, including high income households, because everybody had just sort of lost their jobs, or their hours had been cut back, or they weren't able to go back to the office. At that time, everybody needed help. At that time, basically, the money that went out helped most people. But then, since then, individuals in certain industries have been able to recover. They're in fact doing better than ever before. Individuals in managerial positions, individuals with high school educations or more, individuals in certain industries like professional industries, like consulting, like management, essentially have their jobs back, and they're just doing fine. So those individuals do not need the money anymore. So according to Friedman and Chetty, the initial round of 1,200 stimulus checks in the spring saw some increase in spending across all income levels, but the second stimulus is revealing a wide gap. Now, this is where things get super interesting. The recession is largely over for the rich, according to these researchers. And on the other hand, poor households are still in a depression. Individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality are still badly impacted. And the Federal Reserve said that the unemployment levels for low wage earners is still at around 20%, which is a depression like number. The bottom line is that some individuals are suffering more than others. Let's take a look at this threshold right here. What the proposal is from many economists, and what the Biden administration is seriously considering, because they are getting this feedback from Republicans, is that if you're above this threshold, you're not going to get any more stimulus checks. What they are considering is that if you're below the threshold, you will get more money. You could potentially get the $1,400 that President Biden talked about. So this is very interesting, because data is showing that now we're in a different stage of the economy compared to where we were back in March or April. Does this mean that we don't need help? Of course not. But it does mean that some individuals who have suffered the most, who have borne the brunt of this pandemic, need more help than others. Some individuals are just back on track. It's almost like it never happened, and they should not be getting stimulus checks, according to these economists and according to many, many, many Republican senators. In fact, individuals who have been getting this stimulus money have not been spending it. They've actually been using the money to pay off credit card debt, to pay off student loans. They've been saving this money. And some have actually been using this money to pay off mortgages. The intent of the stimulus checks is to try and revitalize the economy so people can go back out and spend money. Honestly, stimulus checks are intended for those who feel that they can go to the grocery store and be able to buy the food that they needed to buy. And sometimes when I say something like this, that someone should go out to a grocery store and be able to buy what they need to buy, gives me chills, because we live in the United States of America, and this should not be one of the things that is at the back of our minds, but it is, which therefore potentially makes the case for a more targeted stimulus. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You'll get a link to all of our resources in the description section below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, check out my video. You'll learn a little bit more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. This channel, the Ignition Time channel, is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. I cover the complex world of politics, so you understand all the games that are being played. Here's a chessboard on your screen. The players in the game right now are President Biden, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and the new Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. These are the games that are being played. We have to take several different things into consideration in this new world that we live in, which is why I break down the complex world of politics. I help you understand what President Biden is thinking. I help you understand what House Speaker Pelosi is thinking. I help you understand what the underlying agenda and the motivations are of the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. I help you make sense of the complex world of politics and help you understand what's going on in the economy so you can make better decisions about your money. If you learned something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. I would really appreciate that. The name of our channel is Ignition Time. By the way, gently tap the like button. Don't do it in a way where you smash the screen. I don't want that. Let's clear that up. I don't want that. I want you to be happy when you're watching my videos. I want to be able to give you balanced news, real news. I want there to be a confetti-like atmosphere. I want us to be in dance mode. I want us to be happy. I want us to put that crazy, crazy year of 2020 behind us. I want there to be tons and tons of money in your bank account, like you see here. I want you to be happy. I want you to be successful. And that's what this channel is all about. You'll find the links to all of our resources in the description section below. So definitely check out our resource section. Also, please comment below and engage with our community. Our community is bipartisan, it's growing very rapidly, and I invite you to engage with our community. There have been many new friendships formed in the community over the past several months, so I'm really excited about that. Also, please share this video with just two friends or family members, two friends or family members. I would appreciate that. And as always, you're welcome back to the channel. And also, please bookmark our channel. Simply go to youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time, and bookmark our channel so you never miss a single notification. Speaking of notifications, follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time, and also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's right here. In fact, here's my Twitter feed for you, and you'll see all the latest news stories I'm reading, everything. You'll be able to follow the news along with me, and I retweet a lot of important information in real time, which makes my Twitter feed hopefully a valuable source of information, and that's why it's growing so quickly. So I invite you to follow me on Twitter. Finally, one more time, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I would really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time.